walking in there with an already pre-approved idea of what you think is going to happen and what you think your opinion is going to be, it is hard to be able to say that that person is going to be swayed and can be fair and impartial.
What is the math on that? 48 million?
Yes. I'm a mathematician.
So $48 million somebody made on me. I did not make any.
Aubrey O'Day's explosive revelation has sent shockwaves through the industry, threatening to append the pristine image of Beyonce and Jay-Z as music royalty. The former Danity Kane singer claims that before Beyonce's legendary relationship with Jay-Z began, she shared a secret past with none other than Sean Diddy Combs. And this wasn't just a fleeting romance. Aubrey suggests their connection ran deep, allegedly involving Beyonce in the dark, scandalous world of Diddy's notorious private gatherings. With Diddy's reputation long marred by rumors of questionable behavior, the implication is staggering. Could part of Beyonce's path to superstardom be rooted in secrets she hoped would never come to light?
The question is he a criminal? Is he basically akin to a mob boss running several criminal enterprises? And while it's very clear to me he is a depraved, disgusting person, we have to prove that he violated the law.
Let's
start with the timing. Aubrey's accusations suggest that this alleged connection with Diddy predates Beyonce's relationship with Jay-Z, a timeline that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the music world's ultimate power couple. Beyonce and Jay-Z, the untouchable titans of the industry, have spent years crafting their narrative of loyalty, resilience and partnership, and yet here we are staring at claims that, if true, would mean Jay-Z unknowingly set the stage for his own betrayal. Imagine Jay-Z introducing Beyonce to Diddy, thinking it was a professional connection, only to have it spiral into something darker. Something he couldn't have anticipated, or could he? Did Jay-Z? No more than he let on. The thought alone sends chills down our spines.
This morning, Rap Mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations of assault of a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said she was assaulted by both men.
But this goes far beyond the realm of personal betrayal. Aubrey's allegations plunge Beyonce into the shadowy depths of Diddy's notorious freak-off. Parties, legendary events whispered about for years, known more for their scandal than their guest lists. These weren't ordinary industry mixers. Imagine opulent hotel suites cloaked in secrecy, where the elite gathered behind closed doors. Deals were whispered in hushed tones, and reputations teetered on the edge. At the helm, Diddy allegedly curated these multi-day spectacle spaces where lines were blurred. Morality was fluid, and consequences rarely followed. Now, Aubrey is claiming that Beyonce was not just present, but possibly a willing participant. In this murky world, it's a jarring image. Beyonce, the global symbol of poise, empowerment, and control. Legedly, moving through these controversial circles with purpose. According to Aubrey, she wasn't a passive observer, but someone who understood the rules and played them. Could the queen of reinvention and resilience have made strategic choices behind the curtain to secure her rise? The idea is as unsettling as it is provocative, challenging everything the public believes about Beyonce's carefully crafted.
I promise you, this is not an April Fool's joke, what you're about to hear. It is an actual lawsuit filed by an attorney in federal court about Diddy.
And then there's
Diddy, a name now almost inseparable from controversy. In recent months, he's faced a storm of allegations ranging from inappropriate conduct to manipulation and control, casting a long shadow over his once celebrated legacy. His infamous parties, often portrayed as extravagant celebrations, have been described by insiders as something far more sinister: carefully orchestrated power plays where every guest was handpicked, every moment designed to foster allegiance and ensure silence. Now, with Aubrey's explosive claims that spotlight widens to include Beyonce, was she simply another guest caught in the whirlwind of Diddy's high-stakes world? Or, as Aubrey suggests, was she a deliberate player, someone who moved through this treacherous environment with strategic intent, fully aware of the risks and rewards? Was Beyonce just another name on the guest list? Or was she navigating the shadows with purpose, eyes set firmly on the crown?
Of a lot of what happened during direct testimony were freak-offs. And what the prosecution tried to show was that he forced and or coerced her into doing these freak-offs. And we talked about this earlier this week, that at least my opinion is that in a lot of these, the prosecution just didn't close the loop. It was something she...
It's impossible to ignore Diddy's mounting legal troubles when unpacking these allegations. The accusations against him have cast a dark cloud over his empire, with new revelations surfacing almost weekly. Most recently, Cassie Ventura's harrowing testimony painted a disturbing portrait of a man who allegedly exerted control through coercion, manipulation, and intimidation. The image is clear. Diddy is a powerful figure who thrived on secrecy and domination. Against this backdrop, Aubrey's claims about Beyoncé take on a new level of gravity. If she was truly connected to Diddy during this era, what does that mean for her carefully protected public image? Was she a willing participant in this hidden world, or did she become entangled in something far beyond her control? And what role did Jay-Z play in all of this? Could he have unknowingly introduced her to a man whose behind-the-scenes power posed a quiet but dangerous challenge to his own? The questions are unsettling, and they're only getting louder.
Filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
This brings us to the core of the unfolding intrigue, Jay-Z's role in it all. According to circulating rumors, it was Jay-Z who initially introduced Beyoncé to Diddy, a move that, at the time, likely seemed routine. Diddy was a powerhouse in the music industry, and networking was essential for climbing the ranks. But what if that seemingly harmless introduction triggered a series of events neither Beyoncé nor Jay-Z could have predicted? The idea that Jay's renowned for his strategic mind and razor-sharp business instincts might have inadvertently paved the way for this alleged entanglement is both startling and tragic. And yet the question lingers. Was he truly unaware, or did he turn a blind eye? Perhaps he was so focused on his own meteoric rise that he ignored the warning signs surrounding Diddy. Jay-Z has never hidden his rough beginnings. He's spoken candidly about his past as a young hustler in Brooklyn, navigating a world built on risk, survival, and calculated moves. That past shaped the mogul he is today, but it also raises uncomfortable questions about the ethics of his climb. Could his comfort with navigating morally gray areas have made him blind to Diddy's darker side? Or worse, did he recognize it and choose to overlook it, believing he and Beyoncé were untouchable? The dynamic between Jay-Z and Diddy only deepens the mystery. While they've presented a united front in public, industry insiders have long whispered about underlying tensions, suggesting that their relationship was more about mutual benefit than genuine trust. If that's true, it opens the door to an even more complex scenario. One where Jay-Z may have been playing his own high-stakes game, only to find it spiraling out of control. Did he underestimate the cost? Or was he simply outmaneuvered in a world where loyalty is rare and power is everything?
Because we now know who all the prosecutors will be on Diddy's trial. They're all women. They assembled a team of female prosecutors, and that is definitely not by accident.
And then there's Beyoncé, the figure at the center of it all. If these allegations are true, what do they reveal about her agency and choices during that pivotal time? Was she simply a bystander caught in the crossfire of two powerful men, locked in a quiet battle for control? Or was she a conscious, strategic player, navigating this shadowy world with the same precision and ambition that have defined her rise to global stardom? It's a question that strikes at the heart of her public identity. For decades, Beyoncé has been celebrated as a symbol of empowerment, independence, and fierce self-possession. But these claims force a reckoning. Could she have made behind the scenes compromises to protect or advance her position? Could the image of unshakable strength be, at least in part, a well-maintained illusion? As we dig deeper into this tangled web of accusations, secrets, and power plays, one truth becomes impossible to ignore: the narrative we've been fed about Beyoncé. Jay-Z and Diddy is now under intense scrutiny. The carefully constructed empires they've built, long seen as testaments to resilience and success, may be far more complicated than we ever imagined. Was this the ultimate betrayal lore, just the tip of a much larger iceberg? One thing is certain, the facade is cracking, and the saga is far from reaching its final act.
Diddy, after the Cassie lawsuit, gets hit with a bunch of lawsuits, and then ultimately the raids, and then this criminal case.
And then there's Beyonce, the figure at the center of it all. If these allegations are true, what do they reveal about her agency and choices during that pivotal time? Was she simply a bystander caught in the crossfire of two powerful men, locked in a quiet battle for control? Or was she a conscious, strategic player, navigating this shadowy world with the same precision and ambition that have defined her rise to global stardom? It's a question that strikes at the heart of her public identity. For decades, Beyoncé has been celebrated as a symbol of empowerment, independence, and fierce self-possession. But these claims force a reckoning. Could she have made behind the scenes compromises to protect or advance her position? Could the image of unshakable strength be, at least in part, a well-maintained illusion? As we dig deeper into this tangled web of accusations, secrets, and power plays, one truth becomes impossible to ignore: the narrative we've been fed about Beyoncé. Jay-Z and Diddy is now under intense scrutiny. The carefully constructed empires they've built, long seen as testaments to resilience and success, may be far more complicated than we ever imagined. Was this the ultimate betrayal? Just the tip of a much larger iceberg? One thing is certain, the facade is cracking, and this saga is far from reaching its final act.
But this is really fucking creepy. Like, Beyonce has been trying to write me out of my own narrative for like years at this point. Like, this is so weird.
Here's where the story veers into truly unsettling territory. Emerging rumors suggest that Beyoncé may have had access to Diddy's infamous freak-off tapes. San possibly used them as leverage to solidify her unshakable position at the top of the industry. These alleged tapes, long rumored to contain explosive footage from Diddy's notorious parties, are said to feature some of the most powerful names in Hollywood in compromising, career-ending situations. Beyoncé truly had access to such material. The implications are staggering. Could she have used this information as quiet currency? A form of blackmail or strategic influence behind the scenes? It's a theory that's gaining traction, and it might help explain the near-universal reverence she receives from her peers. Think back. Adele famously broke her Grammy in half to honor Beyoncé, and Kanye West interrupted a major awards show just to proclaim her superiority. At the time, these gestures seemed like acts of admiration. But now, some are asking, what if it wasn't just respect? What if it was fear? What if these over-the-top tributes are part of a much larger, unseen dynamic? A system of silent compliance, maintained not by fandom, but by what certain stars might know and desperately want to keep buried? It's a chilling possibility. One that casts a long shadow over Hollywood's most sacred relationships and calls into question everything we thought we understood about fame, power, and influence in the entertainment world.
Two women who said that they had been sexually abused, saying it happened decades ago, and they thought that they could look at the evidence in this case, which is about sexual assault, and view it fair and unbiased based on what comes into the courtroom. And one woman who is proceeding said she was arrested when she was 16 for shoplifting at Harry Potter's World at Universal Studios. The judge asked her what she stole. She said it was a wand.
Of course, the actual contents of these rumored tapes remain shrouded in mystery, but even the suggestion of their existence casts Beyoncé in a dramatically different light, not as a victim caught in the crosshairs of Diddy's controversial world, but as a shrewd, calculating figure who may have used his secrets as leverage to cement her own